So I want to experiment with carving a really old-fashioned, almost historic sort of shape with my copy carver. And the shape I chose is a rotary phone. You don't see many of those around anymore. Carving away lots of material with the router is no fun at all, so I'm going to try to minimize that just by getting the outline and cutting it with a bandsaw. So I roughened out a lot of the phone blank, and so here's my phone. I mounted both of those sideways to make it easier to get at these sides here. And this time I'm using a round follower and a ball nose router bit. So this has worked out pretty well for carving the sides and the top. For the front and for the back, I just don't have enough reach because I keep hitting this part here. So when I bring down the router, it can only come down this far. So what I'm going to try to do is change the orientation of these and then finish carving. So I got my two phones reoriented, and let's just check the orientation and everything, that the alignment is exactly where it was. It's good. Yeah, that's good. So now I can carve the front and back. I can only carve so much detail with one of these round bits, so I switched to a 1/4 inch straight bit, and on here I've got a 1/4 inch bolt, and I wrapped some tape around it to make this a bit thicker than a 1/4 inch. That will leave a little bit more space around the dial pieces so that I don't carve these too thin, because previously I had some pieces kind of chip out on me. So far so good, just needs a little bit of smoothing. And the receiver. So here's ready to cut the phone receiver. I've got it clamped here. I can only do one side, I'll have to flip this to the other side. Here's the blank. I tried to rough out the shape as much as possible with a bandsaw, so I don't have to carve away as much. And because the router makes so much dust, I hooked up the hose for my dust collector to just suck it up here. I just check with the router. It should always touch the blank before the follower touches the phone. Okay, top half is carved. Now I just have to flip both of these over, get the alignment right, and carve the other half. And now I just have to screw that down very carefully without moving it. So just checking the alignment here, that we've got the bit touching just as it touches the phone on the parts that we've already carved. I think the alignment is close enough. So I couldn't carve the back of the handle because my original is mounted like this. So I'll finish that on the bandsaw. Well, so that's my... Hello? 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 Guess it still needs some work. Well, aside from the dropped calls, I also didn't take the time to really smooth out the surfaces. So that's a tough one for a plastic object like that because you really expect it to be nice and smooth. It's different for natural objects. But still, it's a pretty neat and classic shape, much harder to carve than an iPhone would be.